Hi everyone, my name is Sujitra, Student Recruitment Officer. Welcome everyone to the application process. In these sessions, we'll walk you through how to apply to the University of Manitoba if you are coming directly from high school. The overview of the sessions, first of all, we're looking at the application timeline quickly. Then we will be discussing what you need to know before you apply. And then we'll follow the 3 simple steps of the application process, including step number 1, how to file an online application. Step number 2, how to submit documentations. And step number 3, how to accept the offer. All right, let's get started off with the application timeline. If you are applying directly from high school, you most likely will be applying to a direct entry program, taking a direct entry option to the faculty. For the fall September start 2021 application is now available on our website, umanitoba.ca/apply now. Hopefully by now, many of you have already submit the online application. We want to make sure that you apply before March the 1st. Make sure that you submit your online application and paid your application fee before March the 1st. March the 1st is the application deadline to most of our direct entry program. It's also the deadline for students to be considered for an automatic consideration for entrance scholarships. Just so you know that the entrance scholarship, there's no separate entrance scholarship application you need to worry about. As long as you submit and paid your undergrad application online, by March the 1st, you'll be automatically considered for the entrance scholarships. Now, just a quick note that admission team use your high school grade to assess you for admissibility and also for entrance scholarship criteria as well. So we require and we request for students or for the interim grade or interim transcripts to be submitted, and the deadline is May the 1st. Now, the good news is if you are students in Manitoba schools and you submit and pay your online application before March the 1st, your grades, interim grades, final grades will be requested and submitted on your behalf from your school division. So that's great. That means if you apply before March the 1st, you don't have to worry about the deadline or to submit your grade, interim grades or final grades of your grade 12 subjects. Now, as I mentioned, the admission team use your interim grade to assess you, and you can expect in the month between May and June, that's when official admission offers can be issued, and you will get a notification to log onto your application to see that. We want to ensure that you accept your admission offer by the acceptance deadline indicated on your portal, sometimes in June, definitely, or after. And again, July is the final official grade deadline. And if you have submitted your online application before March the 1st and you are students in Manitoba schools, you're gonna not have to worry about this part because your grades will be submitted on your behalf from your school division. Moving on, let's talk quickly about things that we feel important for you to know before you apply, okay? So it is important to have a good idea of the application process and particularly 3 important questions. The first question is, what do you want to study? And when do you want to start your studies? And also, do you meet admission requirements? This will give you a good idea and help you perhaps aim to meet admission requirements, right? So let's start off with the what do you want to study? Now, the University of Manitoba offer over 100 academic programs. As you can see here, the list of our faculty, you will notice that some of the faculty have direct entry options. Those you see with the red fonts are the one that you can actually transition directly from high school into the faculty. But there are also faculty that don't have direct entry options. For example, architecture, law, nursing, just to name a few. Okay, so in that case, if you're interested in these faculties, you wanted to transition from high school by applying to a first year undeclared option called University One. As you can see here, University One is a direct entry program that you can apply to transition from high school. It allows you to come and fulfill prerequisite requirements in order to apply to a program that does not have direct entry options. Or some of you who are interested in exploring more than one program, University One is also a perfect choice for you as well. Now, I just wanted to quickly show you the online resource that we have to kind of give you a better idea of, first year courses you need to take, things like that. So I'm taking you to the first year planning guide right here. Okay, it's on the website. If you're looking at the full screen flip book right here, okay, and I'm just going to zoom in real quick so we can see a little more clear. When you go to the table of content, for example, if you're interested in architecture and you know that it does not have direct entry options, what you're going to do, you're going to apply to University 1. Then in your first year, you can take these courses that list in here that it will allow you to be able to complete and be able to eventually apply into a Bachelor of Environmental Design for Architecture, for example. So this is just some example to let you know that we have online resource that you can use to actually outline first year courses and kind of let you have a better idea of your path to university. Moving on, let's talk about admission requirement as well. Of course, it's important to know whether or not you meet admission requirement. To start off, student from high school, to apply to our program, we want to make sure that you meet the general entrance requirement. That means we want to see that you will have a high school graduation. For students in Manitoba school, that means you will graduate with 5 full credits at the grade 12 level. All those 40S subjects, basically. Now, in addition to general entrance requirements, there's also program-specific admission requirements, which I would say that they are vary depending on program you apply to. We encourage you to go to our website to learn more about the admission requirements, umanitoba.ca/apply now. For the purpose of this presentation, I will run through 2 examples, to let you see the admission requirements. The first example is University 1. To meet University 1 admission requirements, in addition to meeting that general entrance requirement, that means, going to graduate from high school with 5 full credits at the grade 12 or 40S level. In addition to that, we also want to see that you have a minimum 70% average over the following subjects here with no grade less than 60%. And they are English 40S, Math 40S, a third and the fourth academic 40S. I just want to give a little bit of clarification. When you see that it say English 40S, that means any English 40S will do. For example, it could be English Trans or English Com, for example. Same go with mathematics. When you see just mathematics 40S, that means apply math, pre-cal math, or essential math. As long as there are 40S level, that we can take, okay? And a third and the fourth academic, that means any academic subjects at all in the 40S level, we can use that. And the way admission team assess you is that they always get use the best score that you have in your profile of 40S subjects to ensure that you have the best qualifications for the program that you apply to. The second example I want to run in this presentation is the direct entry program. And this one particularly, I'm using the Faculty of Science direct entry simply because it's one of the most common programs students would apply to. For the Faculty of Science direct entry, in addition to meeting that general entrance requirement, we also want you to have a minimum 85% average over the following subjects with no grade less than 60% as well. You'll notice that for direct entry program, the subjects tend to be a little more specific. For example, in this case, for the mathematics, you notice that they now either apply or pre-cal, okay? So you either have to have apply math or pre-cal mathematics in order to meet the admission requirements for science direct entry. And also one of the science subjects, it can be biology, chemistry, computer science, or physics. The good news is if you are taking more than one science subject, the admission team can use whatever subjects that you have the highest grade in this category in order to assess, calculate your admission, okay? So these are 2 examples of the admission requirements by program. In addition to academic requirements, some of you may be required to submit a proof of English proficiency, especially if you were born outside of Canada. To find more information about English proficiency, waiver, and exceptions, things like that, we encourage you to go to our website, umanitoba.ca/apply now to learn more. Now that you know admission requirements, what do you want to apply to, things like that, before you file that online application, there's a couple things that we feel would be useful for you to know ahead of time. This will basically allow for a faster process of filing an application. Now, in reality, you'll find that our online application is super user-friendly and really quick to fill it out. But of course, when you have some information ahead of time, it definitely will make things move even faster. The first thing I want to talk about is a valid email address. The reason why this comes in the beginning, because I will tell you that email communication is the main mode, the primary mode of communication that you will be experiencing throughout the application process and even after. So it is important that you have an email address that absolutely, first of all, valid and also belong to you due to confidentiality and privacy law that our admission office adhere by. We wanted to make sure that you are the only person who have access to this email, okay? And we also highly recommend that you use email address that you will have access to throughout the whole time until the beginning of the fall term in September. And this is because we communicated with you more than just application process. We sent you information about orientation, course selection, things like that. So it's just important that you make sure that you have access to that email address towards, and until September. So those of you thinking about using your school email address, we don't recommend, because it's most likely that you will have no access to that email address after you graduate from school, okay? Then in addition to that, particularly if you are students in Manitoba schools, you want to make sure that you know your MET number, MET number. And if you don't know what I'm talking about here, you want to make sure that you connect with your school counselor to find out your MET number. Just so you know, the MET number is the way that our admission team can request and retrieve your grades from your school division to be submitted to us. So therefore, it is quite important for you to enter your MET number correctly. Okay, make sure you have this. Now, last but not least, application needs an application fee in order to process, okay? So if you are domestic students, Canadian citizen, or permanent residents of Canada, the application fee will be 100 Canadian dollars. If you are international students, your application fee will be 120 Canadian dollars. We accept credit card, Visa or MasterCard is great. So make sure you have that information ahead of time. All right, now let's move on and talk about how to apply. So to apply, you simply go to our website, umanitoba.ca/apply now. You'll see a prompt of instruction, follow that, it should be easy. And you will be able to create an application account. The application, online application itself, it's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. We want to make sure that you answer questions fully and truthfully. For many of you, you'll see that there is a section on the online application that talks about self-reported grades. I just wanted to quickly clarify to you that it's just a simple way for the admission team to be able to respond to your input in regard to self-reported grades. As I already mentioned to you, that your grades will be submitted on your behalf by your school division sometimes in April, and we use that to assess you for admission. So therefore, the information that you enter on self-reported grade may not have a huge impact at all when it comes to admission decisions, official admission decisions in April. So please don't worry if the information you enter on self-reported grade does not reflect or match with the reality of the grades that you receive in April. Some of you may have the ability to upload unofficial documents. Unofficial means it's electronic, it's not official. For example, as proof of a Canadian citizen, things like that. You can upload that on your application portal. You'll see that there is an upload button. If you don't see it, that means you can't upload it. And you want to make sure that you submit and pay your application fee by March the 1st, especially if you are from Manitoba high schools, because that will allow us to be able to get your grades from your school division and also help you be considered for entrance scholarship as well. Step number 2, documentation. Once you apply, you'll notice that there is a gap between 10 to 15 business days before your application gets activated or published. The admission team use this time to preliminary review your application, what you enter on your application, and they come up with the list of documents and the deadline to submit it by. Once the application is activated, you'll get an email notification to prompt you to log on to your application portal, and that's where you'll find the current status of the application. Now, if there are documents that you needed to submit by, it will show on your application portal. And the most important thing is want to make sure that you submit your documentation by the deadline provided. If you are, again, Manitoba students, your grade 12 marks will be automatically submitted by your school division to our admission team. So you don't have to worry too much about submitting those documents if you are a student from Manitoba schools. Now, once all of these documents come in, eventually the admission team will be able to make a decision. So sometimes in May or June, that's when the official admission is scheduled to be issued. You'll get an email notification to log on to your application portal to read the decision. So you won't know the decision by the email, but rather you need to log onto your portal. We want to make sure that you follow the instructions and response, accept or decline your offer by the acceptance deadline indicated on your letter of acceptance. It is important to note that in some program, deposit is also required as part of the acceptance procedure. So if you see that in your letter of acceptance, you're required to pay deposit and also accept the offer, you have to do both, okay? All right, so there you go. That's a wrap up of the application process quickly. Hopefully you'll find these sessions informative and useful to you. If you have further questions, feel free to email us at student_recruitment@umanitoba.ca or anything related to Indigenous community on campus, indigenous.community@umanitoba.ca. Thank you again for your attention to this presentation. Have a good day.